Good morning, everyone.
Hello. Ben and Charlotte, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Just to start off, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do when you're not leading on a CRU holiday camp?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Ben. I have recently started working in wealth management in a bank. It's going really well. And then we're both at the same church at Christchurch St Ives, where I'm involved in youth ministry and music ministry as well.
Hey everyone, my name's Charlotte and I study a Masters of Primary Teaching and work part-time in the Junior School of St Andrew's Cathedral School, and I also lead the creche team at my church.
Wonderful. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with CRU? In particular, I'd love to hear about a pivotal moment for you on a CRU camp. Ben, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I've been really involved in the study camp space for CRU since high school, and I've been I led for a number of years and then started directing a few years ago. And a really pivotal moment. There's one that really comes to mind. I was leading on a camp with a friend of mine, and she had a sibling who was one of the campers. My friend had become a Christian when she was in Year 12 on a study camp. And she was praying for the same for her sister. And so all week we'd been praying for just conversation with her sister. And she actually shared her testimony on the last night. This is my friend. And I'd been having a few chats with her sister. And then I just remember after this testimony, I felt really prompted to go and say something to this sister to see what they thought. I kind of made a beeline for her and I said a few things like, how'd you find it? It's a pretty cool story. And she was just really yeah, great, yeah, cool, trying to avoid not talking to me. And then I kind of pushed a bit harder and eventually she started crying, which wasn't great. But it's a bit of a happy ending.
Yeah, so I was actually that camper. So, yeah, I'd gone on a couple of CRU camps before that. This was my second study camp in the year, just before the HSC exams. And as Ben said, my sister was leading on the camp. She'd become a Christian 2 years before. She was just this weird Christian in my eyes. I'd written her off. My family didn't go to church or anything. This one night she shared her story of how she came to faith on study camps. And everyone came up to me from my school and other campus as well, just being like, your sister's so amazing. That was such a beautiful story. And I was so off it. And then Ben comes up to me and asks me all these hard-hitting questions. And I'd gotten pretty good at sitting through discussion groups and contributing a bit. But I wasn't keen to have my worldview changed. I didn't think, there could be a loving God with suffering in the world, and just had big questions that hadn't been answered. But over this camp, had been pushed a lot, and particularly by Ben. And I kind of stood there, really contemplating life, bit existential crisis of a moment, and just realised that, I got to a point where I thought it was true and knew that had massive weight to it, and knew that I'd regret not putting my faith in Jesus when I met God one day. And so, I started to cry, put my faith in Jesus on that camp.
That is amazing. What a great story. I love you made someone cry, but then it was her, so it's okay. Everyone, it's okay.
Not intentionally. I didn't go
okay.
into the conversation with that intention. I will clarify.
So we can definitely see where your passion for CRU camps comes from. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about what keeps you coming back to lead on CRU camps and why you think that there's such a ministry that we should keep supporting and be involved in.
Yeah, I've led on 8 study camps now since graduating and being in uni, and I absolutely love them. They're one of the greatest things, and I think for me, getting the chance to tell other students about Jesus at such a similar time that I was going through, I know what it's like to attend those camps, just thinking it's this fake thing that people are all believing in, getting the chance to answer their big questions is such a joy, and getting to see them come to faith too. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and I think for me, there's probably 2 really big things that come to mind. The first is stories like Charlotte. Charlotte and I go to church together. She's one of my closest friends now. seeing her grow in faith has been actually one of the biggest joys about. It's very rare, I feel like, when you do ministry and then get to see someone come to faith and then just like thrive in faith. So Charlotte's been on my team in study camps for the last 4 or 5 years now. She's actually taking over my directing next year, which is pretty exciting. So stories like that are a huge reason. Like people's lives are changed, particularly through study camps. And you know, the second reason is like, I don't think there's a better mission initiative in Sydney right now than study camps. You get 170 non-Christian campers, and you get to talk to them about faith for an entire week. And yeah, it's like an incredibly pivotal time in their lives where they're about to leave school, and you just get to challenge them and just learn from them about what they think about the world and get them thinking about things. And that's like, there's no opportunity like that. And that keeps bringing me back. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us this morning and for your heart to tell the next generation about Jesus. Can we thank these two?